What's going on, guys? V-Buzz11 coming at you guys quick today. I'm working a little bit, so I'm going to make this quick. This is just, I wanted to share with you guys today a chapter in a book that actually changed my life for the better, like literally drastically changed my life. So I read this about a year and a half ago, and I've always wanted to make a video on this, but you know, now's finally like a good time to make it. The title of the book is The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews, and it says 7 decisions that determine personal success. So the moral of the book is like I'm not going to give it away or anything, so don't worry. This isn't like a spoiler or anything, but like David is the main character in the book, and he has like a great life, a wonderful family. Everything's going upward for him until, like, you know, slowly everything starts to unfold and things just go to shit for him. So he meets like this guru in the beginning of the book, and the guru says, you know, I'm going to let you deal with 7 people from the past who have made an impact on the world. And you know, one was like Christopher Columbus, another one was like Abraham Lincoln. It's an unbelievable book. I really highly recommend everybody to go, you know, at least read a chapter in this book, and I'm telling you guys, you would have to buy it. It's $14, I mean, from Barnes & Noble, so it really is unbelievable, I'm telling you. Andy Andrews is a great author, by the way. So I love all of his books. But I wanted to share with you this one chapter because this is exactly what I was talking about in the Power of Choice video, and this is where I got it from, to be honest with you guys. So each time David time travels in the past to a certain place, no one else sees him but the person who is there to teach him a life lesson. Being like Christopher Columbus was the only one to see him, Abraham Lincoln was the only one to see him. And this chapter that I'm going to share with you guys is Anne Frank. So Anne Frank is in an abandoned house, like a hideout during the Holocaust, the Nazi occupation, you know, in Holland. She's in Amsterdam. So it was 1943. So David goes there, and like Anne's with her family and everything, obviously, but they go upstairs to talk, to discuss, because David's there for a reason, and Anne knows that. So they're the only two that, I mean, Anne's the only one that could see David. So they go upstairs to talk, and like they're talking about like the city of Amsterdam. They like peek out of the window because David wants to know like where he is and, you know, what's going on, because he doesn't know fully yet. He just knows that he's with a little girl. He doesn't even know it's Anne Frank yet, if that makes sense. I know I'm a little, you know, I hope I'm not confusing you guys, but as soon as he gets to each destination, he doesn't know where he is yet until that person tells him why he's there and what he's there for, and who he's going to be talking to. So like in the beginning of the chapter, all he knew was that it was just a little girl. He didn't know it was Anne Frank until Anne Frank finally said, you know, this is Anne Frank and this is where we are. So they're looking out like towards Amsterdam, like to the city, and like they're obviously not trying to be like what's called discovered or anything, obviously. So they're looking, and like they see this clock, and Anne like talks to David about this clock that's outside of her window, I'm sorry, in the attic. And like they keep talking, and they say, like David was saying stuff like every hour on the hour the clock like rings very, very loud. So David goes, you know, isn't that annoying to Anne? And Anne said, oh, Mrs. Petronella was a lady downstairs. I think it was a family member, actually, but she's the only one of us who even makes a comment about the clock, because Dave was like, day and night, it has to wake you guys up because it's a very loud clock every hour on an hour. So Papa says the clock, and now Anne's talking now. So Papa says, which is her father, Papa says the clock is a good thing for her because it provides something to complain about every hour on the hour. So David laughs about it, and he says, what about you, to Anne? Like, what do you complain about? And Anne says back, I do not complain. Papa says complaining is an activity just as jumping rope or listening to the radio is an activity. So complaining is an activity, like I mentioned before. It's a choice. So Anne says, one may choose to turn on the radio, and one may choose not to turn on the radio. One may choose to complain, and one may choose not to complain. I choose not to complain. So these are pretty rough. So now David talking again. These are pretty rough conditions for anyone, never mind a girl your age. How can you not complain about it? Like, that's a little insane. How are you not complaining? How are you comfortable with where you are? So Anne says back, our lives are fashioned by choice, Mr. Ponder, who is David. First we make choices, then the choices make us. So this chapter like gives me the chills. I'm not even playing with you guys. So she says, rough conditions? Yes, an ungrateful person might see this place as too small for 8 people. There's 8 people in a little house. A diet that is limited in portions that are too meager, or only 3 dresses for 2 girls to share. But gratefulness is also a choice, she says. I see an annex that hides 8 people while others are being herded onto railway cars. I see food that is generally provided by Miep, who is a security guard there for them, whose family uses their ration cards for us. I see an extra dress for my sister and me while there are surely others who have nothing at all. I choose to be grateful. I choose not to complain. Just like I said, the power of choice in my video. So David was amazed at like the self-control that Anne seemed to possess. Like he was like, this girl is so young, so little, and the wisdom that she has, the knowledge is just unbelievable. The confidence, the power that she has. So David, talks back to her and says, are you honestly telling me that you're always in a good mood? To Anne, like literally, like how is that possible? You're always in a good mood? And Anne like smiles and goes, of course not. Of course I'm not. But if I ever find myself in a bad mood, I immediately make a choice to be happy. In fact, it is the first choice that I make every day. I say out loud to my mirror, today I will choose to be happy. I smile into my mirror and laugh even if I am sad. I just say ha ha ha, and soon I am happy exactly as I have chosen to be. So David, is just like soaking it all in and like realizing like how powerful like these girls' Anne Frank's words are to him. And like he just says like, you're a very special young lady to Anne Frank. So Anne says thank you, and she says that is also a choice to be special. So now Anne talks about being special. Anne says, my life, my personality, my habits, even my speech is a combination of the books I choose to read, is the books I choose to read, the people I choose to listen to, and the thoughts I choose to tolerate in my mind. Before the war, when I was a little girl, my papa took me to Het Vondel Park on a Saturday afternoon to hear the orchestra play. At the end of the concert, from behind the musicians, 100 helium balloons of red and blue and yellow and green floated up into the sky. It was so exciting. I tugged on Papa's arm and asked, Papa, which color balloon will go the highest? And he said to me, Anne, it's not the color of the balloon that is important. It's what is inside that makes all the difference. So now she said that to David, and Anne describes what her father was talking about. She says, Mr. Ponder, I don't believe that being Jewish or Aryan or African has any bearing on what one can become. Greatness does not care if one is a boy or a girl. If, in fact, it is what's inside us that makes all the difference, then the difference is made when we choose what goes inside, how we live, how we act, the power of our choice. The difference is made when we choose what goes inside, what we tend to listen to, what we choose to study, what we choose to do day in and day out of everyday life. So, like, they keep talking, and Anne says she has to go down to dinner and stuff. So, the chapter's obviously brief. And at the end, Anne just leaves him with, but most of all, like, they're saying goodbyes. And Anne says, most of all, both of us must remember that life itself is a privilege. But to live life to its fullest, well, that is a choice. Now, think about that. Life itself is a privilege. I've said that many times to you guys. Life is a privilege. It's not like something that, like, we should take for granted. It's a privilege to live life. But to live life to its fullest is a choice. We choose how we want to live our life. Now, this chapter in general just amazed me. Just blew my mind because it's so easy, especially for a young girl like her, to just simply say, life's over. They're going to catch us soon, this and that. But for her to stand up for what she believes in, everyone else in the house thinks that she's a little crazy because she's so confident, and they're not really giving her any kind of benefit of the doubt. They describe that in the chapter, but it's just unbelievable to me how when I read this chapter, I literally get the chills. I could read it 20 times and I get the chills every single time because life is powered by our choices, guys. The choices that we make ultimately shape us into the persons that we will become. I'm telling you guys, this chapter is awesome. I really, really highly suggest you guys to get this book. So the 5th decision for success was to choose to be happy. You make a choice, and you live by it. Every single choice that you make shapes you into the person that you are. So it's an unbelievable chapter. It's an unbelievable book. The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. Guys, I'm telling you, please, if you have $14, I'm sure most of you do, you will not be upset that you bought this book, that you purchased this book. I'm telling you guys, it definitely changed my life, especially that chapter. I love this whole book in general, though. I could just talk about it forever, to be honest with you. And I hope I proved a point to you guys, and I hope I hope you understand where I'm coming from, how this is a choice, and we have power over everything in our lives, or over most of the things in our lives. I'm sorry. So like I said, definitely try to give this a go. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed, who comments on the videos, who likes the videos. I appreciate everything. Like the videos, comment on the videos, please. I do appreciate that. And God bless to everyone. VBuzz11. Thank you. Believe, excel, achieve, guys. Believe, excel, achieve. God bless.